Welcome to Table Talk. Our first guest is First Sergeant Tim Howard and the senior team members of the Pioneer Junior ROTC Battalion. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Thank you for having us.
You guys look very official and very professional. You guys, I'm just in awe of how great your fatigues and stuff. It makes you very, compliment you a lot on that. So First Sergeant Howard, tell us about Junior ROTC, and then I want to hear from the seniors as to why you all joined. But let's start with you.
Well, sure. First of all, thank you for having us today. We appreciate you guys calling us in for this. To answer your question, Junior ROTC is a character leadership and development program, and it uses many different avenues to help develop those traits, such as the drill team, such as some of the leadership positions, and in this case, the Raider team. So the mission statement is to motivate young people to become better citizens, and I think the Raider team, amongst those other things, do a great job with that.
Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed, of course, these are the seniors, and these are all young ladies. Do you all still have a good proportion, I guess, as to young men that join and ladies as well?
Yes, ma'am. That ratio's pretty much right at about 50-50 right now.
Mm-hmm.
We this year we've had an influx of young ladies that have stepped up to take the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty happy about that.
Well, as we see that happen more in the military, this is kind of a good reflection of what the military looks, maybe not quite, but kind of go in that direction, seems like.
Yes, ma'am. And you kind of, to quote another cadet a couple of years ago, we kind of do military things in a civilian manner.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah. So you all take a turn, I guess, and tell us why you joined Junior ROTC. What was your motivation? We'll start with you.
Okay. First of all, I wanted to seek self-improvement, both physically and mentally. And when I seen Raiders, I was like, wow, that looks so cool. Like, they're all working rather quickly to do it in the best way possible, in the best time possible to win. And to see them do that, it was awing, and I wanted to be a part of that. When First Sergeant came with a lot of the cadets that used to go to the same school I was going to, Morrison,
Mm-hmm.
they introduced to us everything that JROTC had. And I was definitely intrigued, and I wanted in because I wanted to better myself.
That's awesome. Okay, we'll go back here and then down the line.
I primarily joined to do Raiders, and I quickly realized JROTC had way more to offer.
I wanted to try something new for myself and just things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to join because I wanted to be able to better myself, and I also wanted to try something new, so I felt like JROTC was something that I should try.
So they're referring to Raiders a lot. Is that a certain thing that is it a division of Junior ROTC?
It's one of the many teams, the special teams that are involved with Junior ROTC.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you go to high school, you can join the basketball team, you can join football, you can join whatever, and there's no requirements to be in a particular class for that. But for Junior ROTC, you actually have to be involved within the Junior ROTC program in order to be a member of one of the many teams that it offers.
Okay. So you got Junior ROTC, and then teams within that program.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all righty. So tell me about, I read about this winning on the national level on rope bridge training. What is that, and how long have you all been training and competing in that category?
Well, I'll let the girls talk a little bit about it, but just to get a head start, rope bridge comes out of the military mountaineering manual, and what it is used in the military for is to move troops and equipment across pretty difficult places such as large creeks, ravines, things like that, in more of a timely manner. It may take a little time to do it, but the mission is to get all the equipment across. Well, at the high school level, we've taken that and turned it into a competition event, and I'll let the girls talk a little bit more about that now.
For rope bridge training, you need to be able to cross from one pole to the next in the fastest, most efficient way possible. Everyone on the team is very important too, because everyone has a job, whether that be apex, you're near and far side, or you're the other girls pulling the ropes to make sure that the rope isn't sagging, because if it sags, then there's possible, your time could be slower, there's possible stuff on the ground, so you need to be careful. It's just about everyone putting in their part in the fastest way that you can, because these events can be won by seconds, minutes. It all just depends on you focusing, making sure if there's any mistakes that you fix it right then and there.
So where all did you go to? I guess, is it first on a regional competition, and then it goes to state, and then national?
To get to the national level, we are sponsored by 7th ROTC Brigade, and what they do is they take a look at a lot of the teams that have done really well. We actually have to turn in our scorecards of the different events that we've done. We've competed this year at Clark Range, Fairview, Hamilton County, Saudi Daisy. We just got back from Lakeview, Fort Oglethorpe in Georgia, and North Georgia as well. And what they do is they take those scorecards, and they see that we have won quite a few of these events, first place team, second or third place teams in the female or the mixed category. So they take that and they compile it together and decide who gets to go from there.
Okay. So have you all been competing in this category, and have you all been training your entire years of high school for this? Do you take different positions each year, like seniors, you kind of, or is it like once you start a position, that's kind of where you stay? Anybody can chime in on that.
Well, for the girls, for the leadership positions, I mean, Daisy started out, all these girls started out at the lower levels of the rope bridge, whether it be on the mule team or just simply clipping in particular parts of the rope in certain locations. And as time goes by and they evolve up into their senior year, they take different leadership roles. Like Daisy's the team commander, Jalen is the assistant team commander, she's the mule team commander on the rope, and she's like responsible for the clippers. So and plus she's a main mounter for the team as well. So it just depends on where you're at in the stage of the game.
Well, and you really don't think I've seen instances where things are taken, you don't think of the complexity of moving people and equipment over things like that, and how many pieces and parts there are to it.
And the bigger takeaway to it is not just the teamwork aspect of it, but it's also the listening skills. They have to listen for different cues in order for when it's their time to go. I always tell them all the time, it's a silent bridge. No one should be talking except the key personnel. And when they hear particular keys such as up and down, then the other person knows that they have to get on and go, whether they're being told to or not. So it's kind of like silent commands in a sense.
Okay. So you ladies won, I guess, by a single second from what I read. What was the feeling like of working hard and actually knowing that you won on a national level?
The feeling was that our hard work was paid off since Summer Raiders started and started beating our times at home.
Yeah, and you all, I guess, had a cheering section there as far as,
Oh, yes.
yeah.
We have a pretty vast booster network that travels with us and really supports these girls and the boys as well.
Yeah. Do you all have fundraisers and things that go on throughout the year, like your uniforms and things like that? Do they have to kind of pay for those and fundraise for those?
The beauty about Junior ROTC is if a student decides to join, they literally have almost zero out-of-pocket costs.
That's
The United
good.
States Army provides all the uniforms, the equipments, and the fundraiser money we do have. Sometimes we'll have to help pay for the trips and maybe the buses and things like that. But for the most part, all the equipment and gear, the Army likes to supply that.
Great, great. So you all scored as one of the top teams in the nation in the gauntlet as well, and the physical team test. Do each of you have a different role to play in each of the competitions? Like the gauntlet. How does your role change with something like that?
It all depends on what event it is. Like Gauntlet and CCR, there are rucks, and for CCR, it's a litter, and gauntlet, it's crates. And it all depends on the person that we put to carry it. Like, we have a certain amount of people to carry rucks, a certain amount of people to carry the litter and crates. And throughout them trails, there's walls and other obstacles we have to go across. So we have certain people on them walls to help people get over, and to be able to have people on the other side of the wall to get the equipment and stuff. So it all really depends on what event we are on.
Right, as to what your role is, yeah.
And training for these particulars just don't happen like a couple of weeks from the event.
Oh, I'm
I mean,
sure.
we've been together since 14 June, going through all these different things. And we started out with 40 cadets, and I think we ended the season with 37.
Yeah, so
on the
few
team,
people,
so.
yeah. So you all are practicing basically all year long for different events and competitions that come up, and then even starting in the summer as far as preparing for
Yes,
things
ma'am.
like this.
Yeah, that's one reason they've gotten so good at it, is because of the early practice.
Yeah. What does teamwork mean to you all? I mean, is that just everything when it comes to being a Raider?
Definitely. Teamwork is a very, very big aspect of Raiders in every event, because as a leader, you need to be able to see, okay, what is this person better at? What is their weaknesses? Where can we put them where they will best benefit the team? Everyone has each other's back, like helping each other. Say somebody's having a difficulty running with the ruck, somebody's right there ready to assist them, grabs the ruck, and they're running. So
Right.
teamwork is probably the biggest important thing for Raiders.
I could, and you really don't think about you all doing all of these drills and things like this all the time, and the level of teamwork that goes into it. So tell me, are all of you or some of you planning on a military career? What is that? Is that kind of something that you hope to attain? We'll start with you.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. I do plan on joining the Army and becoming a culinary specialist.
Okay, all right. Next to you.
Not at the moment.
And that's okay. Everybody, we've all got our thing. You may, but I can't imagine the leadership skills and the teamwork skills you all have learned for participating in this, whether you go to college or vocational school. It's going to take you a long way.
It's funny you mention that, because these are primary leaders in the battalion. She's the battalion commander, she's a company commander, her as well, and then she helps the logistics side of the battalion.
Okay.
So there's a lot that goes to it, and they learn a lot.
Okay. What about you? Are you going to do anything in the military?
I do. I want to go into the Army. I want to do something to be able to help people in the Army. I'm just not 100% sure on what yet.
I'm sure there's a plethora of career paths out there. Okay, and you?
I want to follow ROTC to college, and then from there go into the military as an officer.
Okay, that's very commendable. We need young ladies and young men like you all leading the way into the military, and you've already got the experience and the discipline. How proud are you of this bunch of
Man,
kids?
I just can't express enough, man. These girls have really come a long ways, and it's just not the road bridge. I mean, that was definitely a defining moment in their success. But these girls, man, have just developed into just awesome leaders and awesome humans. They stay out of trouble. They don't, make bad choices. They do all these things that really makes me as an instructor stay for another year each time. So.
Well, and I'm sure they do a good job at mentoring the freshmen,
Absolutely.
sophomore, and juniors
Yep.
too, because that's a big part of it is
Yes.
setting that example for them.
Especially for the freshmen coming in, because, typically they might taste it, for the first year and decide whether or not they want to continue to pursue it. And so somebody in these girls' lives did the same thing when they were freshmen and helped guide them. So.
Well, tell me, before we get ready to close out, I do want to get you all to give me all of your names, and that way our audience will know who all we've been talking to the whole time. Start with you.
My name is Daisy Perez.
Okay.
Hope Hasty.
Anna Cerna.
J. Lindy Santiago.
Okay, very good. And of course, this is First Sergeant Tim Howard. You've been with the program many years now, haven't you?
16 years.
Wow.
So I took over for Ernie Brewington, who left an amazing program. So
Yes, I remember him in my heyday at the high school there, so he was a great guy. Well, I will thank you all for joining and being part of our show today. Congratulations. You guys are exemplary students, and our audience has a lot to be proud of. We need to take a short break, but we will be right back with Miriam Crawford and the annual Nativity Festival coming up on Table Talk.